Hello, so welcome to this week's video on how to double your margin. In previous weeks, we've been through the layout of a funnel and where the margin improvement can come from. And last week, we did a bit on market research and business analytics to inform what we're going to talk about today, business planning. So let's get into it. So what are the drivers for change, first of all? So there's been a bit going on, isn't there? Pandemic and all that kind of stuff. We're through that, and now we're dealing with Trumpian economics and all the rest of it. But so are we facing a recession? There's still the overhang of Brexit, but coming over the hill, we've got obviously AI and automation disrupting many markets. You might be outgrowing your native market in the UK. You may well be facing increased competition. Many organisations are, depending on the segment, but particularly we're all in a fight for talent like never before. And it's not just a Brexit thing, actually, it is a global challenge that there are not enough skilled people in many segments, in many markets and sectors. And so we need to do a good job of business planning to target effectively, grow our businesses effectively, and ensure their sustainability and predictability over time. And so this is a deck that I use in my free business growth challenge I deliver for the Department for Business and Trade. So we're just going to canter through it to give you a bit of a flavour of in the journey to doubling the margins of your business, which bits to take advantage of, really. And we've covered some of this in previous sections, but in effect, all businesses are really a pyramid scheme of a fashion where we should have the objectives of the owners and the board, which should spill down into a vision and a business plan we're going to talk about today. And then in future weeks, we're going to talk about marketing and account-based marketing, particularly account planning, capture, how you manage your pipeline, and then into the ops stuff of actually bidding in the end game, mobilization, farming frameworks, all of that kind of stuff down at the other end of the funnel. But we're right at the top end here. So strategically, on a 3 to 5 year horizon, we should have a business plan that tells us where we're going, and that should be refreshed annually, perhaps. Tactically, then, as a subset of that, we should have our marketing plan that we're going to talk about next week. We should have sector and account-based plans and capture, etc., supporting it. So the business should be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Everybody's objectives, everybody should be pulling in the same direction. If you spin that out across a funnel that perhaps we've looked at before, we recognise that in predictably, sustainably growing organisations, they do a good job of business planning. As we've said in previous sessions, 500 people a month search for bid writing training, which is great because I've got a bid writing training business. But actually, there's much bigger flash to bang. You need to do that in the end game and put the ball in the net. But actually, there's great returns for your business in focusing in some of this stuff in the middle, informed by good targeting set out in your business planning. And so that's why we're here, because far too many organisations, the large majority of organisations, have salespeople punting opportunities over the fence to their bidding people with either no client development or key account management and no capture taking place. And it's just far from optimal. The cost of sale is wild. The business is all disjointed. And so we need to do a better job than that. We want to see a dotted line that runs through the funnel of these activities with limited wastage through it. So we'd want to see particularly some KPIs and super KPIs aligned with this as we get through it. But I'll skip these slides. You can talk to me about that stuff or join our free sessions with the department where we get into that. So anyway, into business planning. So what's a business plan? This shouldn't be a dusty document that's done once every 3 years and filed in a drawer, never to be seen again. It should be a live vessel by which the strategy of the business is articulated and communicated to everyone in the business with success measures baked into it, baked into their objectives for their appraisal at the end of the year. Everybody should be wound into this thing, bound into it, so that we're all delivering together. Most organisations don't do that, but the smart ones do. So in our maturity benchmarking workshops that we run with clients, is a simplified version of some of that content in terms of the approach to business planning. You're welcome to pause the video to have a peek at this, but notice in high performance that it's a 5 year horizon, top down but bottom up. There's a real board vision and direction backing it, and the plans are based on a combination of data from the pipeline and proper market research in trends, data, direction of travel, and that business plan is baked into the performance measures of the business and personnel, and so not just directors but employees, even supply chain members. So we really want to strive for high performance if you want to double your margins of your business, get everybody bought into it together. So what's in a business plan? So probably an exec summary, but do this bit last, but it should give you a bit of a business summary, what you do, what the aims of the business are, your financial goals, etc. But some of the bit in how we can drive the margin of the business, we cover this later in the full business growth program, but you want to have a proposition and elevator pitch. The business should know how it creates value for its clients and why that's important. And that should become second nature, articulated in the business, and become a bit of a cornerstone in how we talk to people externally, particularly prospects and clients. Yes, we want a bit about the business, but this isn't the heart of the business plan, really. Its purpose and its experience and all that sort of stuff. You might play this up if you're looking to sell the business in the future to sort of keep interest, or you might use it as a tool for satisfying lenders, the bank, etc. But in terms of how you grow the business, it's not really there. But we want to understand what we are selling, and we want to understand who our customers are. That's critical. And as we've talked about in some of the other videos, we really need to understand who that dream list of clients is and what's important to them, and then focus on them through the funnel, through our marketing and engagement. And so, as we covered last week, we want to do some market research, how big the market is, how many sales take place, the trends, dependencies. And you might do field research, as we talked about, so questionnaires, structured interviews, all of that kind of stuff. We want to engage clients in this, and so again, we have a separate module on marketing. We'll do some stuff on that next week. But we should map our funnel. We should understand what our business development processes, resources, and governance looks like, and lay that out in our plans, so everybody knows, and keep it all aligned. And yes, we want to understand our competition. So who are they? Where are they? What they sell? Price to win type stuff, their strengths and weaknesses, perhaps bidders comparison matrix. And we want to understand internally our strengths and weaknesses and our unique selling points, so we know how to differentiate. And obviously we want to understand how we're going to deliver. What's production look like, who are our suppliers, key enablers, our structure, our management staff, our governance, how we're going to deliver, and particularly how we get paid. That's quite a key one, actually, in this double your margin campaign. It's all well and good winning work, but you do need to get paid for it. We need to understand what the payment terms are. Obviously, if it's B2G, you're working with government under the new Procurement Act, they should be paying you in 30 days, and you should be paying all of your suppliers in 30 days. Mandated by legislation now, but outside the public sector, that's probably not the case. And so we really need to understand who our perfect client is, and commercially what that looks like as part of our plans. And so we need to understand the sort of backbone of the business in terms of the cost to serve, your cost of sale, cash flow, utilization, all of that kind of stuff. But we do want to lay out what the pipeline is. And so where we talked about market research last week and the funnel and how it all hangs together before, we need to play into the business plan your work secured and your gap to find, and what of in the market we think we can secure on what probability. And that should give us and our stakeholders confidence in the business moving forwards, along with a bit of contingency in there. We should have a bit of a buffer to make sure the business is safe and robust. So like I said, we should agree as a business, as a board, certainly your board members should have perhaps 5 or 6 key top line super KPIs that the business is steered on. Margin should be one of those, but it's not everything. I would say you want staff turnover, client satisfaction, health and safety in there, depending on your market and your business. And those should be cascaded down into KPIs, which teams and leaders are benchmarked against, and then performance indicators that are baked into everybody's scorecard. So this is the key bit, the nub that I wanted to get to in this session in how to double your margin. It's develop a business plan, but bake it into everybody's objectives and scorecards for their bonus or their prospects at the end of the year, promotion, whatever it looks like. Everybody needs to be aligned. So this is the stick, as it were. You want some carrot in there. We want to use the business plan to develop our vision and mission and get everybody bought into that and excited about it. But we also need the stick of everyone being managed against their KPIs, and so and performance indicators, and all of their scorecards and everything is aligned so that the business becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. We're all driving for the same thing. So I hope that makes sense. Do let me know what you think of this content, if it's useful, if we need to do more or less. Do reach out if any of it's of interest. I'm offering a free mini maturity benchmarking session. You're welcome to grab a call with me on the link in the post or in the email, and you can book a call and we'll talk through this stuff and try and benchmark where your business is and give you some recommendations on the call as to how you improve. So I hope you can join me for that. Thank you very much.